Hi, my name is Ron Meyer. I'm Professor of Strategic Leadership here at TIA's School for Business and Society, and welcome to Meyer's Management Models, insightful tools to kickstart your thinking. And welcome to installment 10, in which I'd like to tell you about the Strategic Agility Model. Now, the Strategic Agility Model gives us an answer to the question, how can I develop strategy in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world? In other words, a world which is very, very difficult to predict. Now, if you want to make a strategy, typically we start thinking about trying to predict the future and then making a plan how I'm going to get there. So if you're a strategist, let's look 5 years into the future. So if I know where I'm going, then I can make some type of a plan of how I'm going to get there. Very often we actually go backwards. We say, if in year 5 I'd like to be there, then in year 4, 3, 2, 1, future back planning. But the Strategic Agility Model says, wait a second, we can't predict the future. If I look into the future, I don't see any dot on the horizon. All I see is mist. And I'm going to have to make a strategy even though I can't really understand the future. Now, how does that go? Now, let's put that in different terms. If I, for instance, were in Sevilla at this moment and I wanted to go to Mumbai, well, if I can predict the future, I know I'm in A, I'm going to B, I know what I'm going to encounter along the way, I could make a strategic plan. Now, if it's true that the world is VUCA, it means that, well, I'm standing somewhere and I don't know exactly where I'm going. Does that mean that the only alternative to making a strategic plan is to improvise? Well, the Strategic Agility Model says that there's something in between the two. It means that, well, let's take a historic example. Say you were in Sevilla about 500 years ago, like Christopher Columbus. And say that you were going to Mumbai, but you didn't know exactly that it was Mumbai yet. You had this idea that you were headed to India. Now, if you're going from Sevilla to somewhere in India, and we want to take a strategic agility approach, it means that we need to start by first trying to envision where it is that we'd like to go. It doesn't mean we can predict the future, but we do need to have some sense of where we think we want to head. So we have to have a sense of direction. Otherwise, we don't know in which direction we should go scouting, we should go looking. And strategic agility is all about trying to find the future along the way. So if we know that we don't know, it does still mean that we need to try to envision the direction in which we want to head. Now, if we have this sense of direction, then we have to start organizing ourselves to find out. We need to start organizing ourselves to explore. And what do? We start by taking a number of bets. We start with some initiatives. We get some ships, we get a crew, so we take some bets, but we don't know exactly what's going to work. So we're going to have to try some things out. So in a typical strategic agility approach, it means that you spread your bets. And Christopher Columbus had 3 ships because he didn't want to put all of his chips on one bet. So you spread your bets and then you're going to try some things out. Some things are going to be sure bets. In any type of future, they're probably going to work out. Some things are going to be, pretty risky bets because you're very unsure, but you're going to give it a try anyway. But if you know it's risky, if it's a big bet, don't put too much on that bet. And then we start acting. So some things which we know for sure we're going to execute, some things which we're less sure about we're going to experiment, some things we're even less sure we're going to have to try to examine them, we're going to have to try to scout around. All of this acting is intended to try to learn, to try to find out what works, to see what in the future is actually going to be true. And as we learn, we're going to stop doing certain types of things, we're going to course adjust, and there's going to be things which you say, this is great, let's put even more effort into them. And this is how we grope around in the mist and we try to find our way. So we're looking into the mist. We're trying to find our way in the mist, but we know that we don't know. So we hold on to the steering wheel so that we can course adjust along the way. Now, if we're taking different initiatives, it means that also that some of these initiatives are going to veer to the left or they're going to veer to the right. And so we need to try to harmonize those different initiatives as they unfold and as we gain more insight. So we need to unfold so as well when it comes to trying to bring all of those things together. And this is the way that strategic agility works. It's not a straightforward step-by-step process, but these are the types of things that you need to do to try to find your way. So what can we conclude about the nature of making strategy in a VUCA environment? Well, it starts by acknowledging that you don't know. And if we know that we don't know, let's not be the people who don't know you don't know. If we know that we don't know, we're going to have to do number two, which is we're going to have to take a guess. It means we look into the future, we give it our best shot. Strategy is our current best guess, but we know it's a guess, so we're going to try to find out whether we guess correctly. Which brings us to insight 3. Strategizing is about constantly learning. It's about gaining insight as we move forward, and we're going to learn that some things don't work and we have to cancel those. Some things we're going to have to course correct. Some things are going to be even better than we thought, and this is how we proceed, and the strategy unfolds along the way. It emerges. And it means, therefore, that since we know that we don't know, we're going to take risks, we're going to bet, but we want to make sure that these are calculated risks. So the less certain we are, the less we're going to want to bet. And we're going to bet just enough to try to find out. And as we gain more certainty, we're going to be able to commit ourselves, and we're going to be able to then move forward with more certainty. And finally, the key insight is that strategizing is not about making a plan once, but it's about keeping it alive. It's going to be an ongoing process. Strategizing is never over. Well, hopefully a useful way of thinking, a useful model. Hope to see you again next month.